Hi everyone, we are going to get into our second installment of surface area prisms with triangular prisms. Okay, so let's go and dive right into it. On our rectangular prisms video, we said that lateral surface area is equal to pH, and you can often find these on star charts and things of that nature, but it says clearly perimeter of the base times the height. Okay, so P is for perimeter. Okay, perimeter of base times the height of the prism. So this is very important that we write height of prism because we are going to end up having to find the area of our base here in a little bit. So on triangular prisms, remember the name of the shape of the base names the shape. So our bases are two triangles. Okay, so your bases for triangular prisms will always be For triangular prisms, your bases will always be triangles, okay? The height is the space in between. So we definitely need to be able to figure that out. And the notes even say the shape of the base is always a triangle for triangular prisms. So remember, once again, the shape of the base names the shape. Okay? So into the formula one more time. pH is lateral surface area, total surface area is pH plus 2b. Okay? So we know P is perimeter of base. We know that H is the height of prism. And we know that B is the area of base. Okay, so we have all the information. It's the same formula for rectangular prisms. There's only one slight difference, and that's how we find the area of a triangle. Okay, so on this, we need to shade the bases and label the height. This is very important. Remember, your triangles are going to be your base, and that one's hard to see, but your height is going to be the space in between. Okay, so even on this here, it's good practice to find where your bases are so we can find where the height is. That height is going to be separate from our B, and I'll show you what that means in just a little bit. But go ahead and take time if you have this to practice on your prisms identifying the space between your bases because it's once again very, very important that we know where that is. Okay? So as you can see, I've shaded in all of my bases so I can identify the space in between, and we should be good to go there. So with that, let's get into some practice. The same thing I did before on my rectangular prisms is I labeled everything, I shaded in my bases. So before we do that though, we need a couple of things to help with our labeling. So first we need lateral surface area. So that tells me I need pH, which is perimeter of the base times the height. So the perimeter of this triangle, we're going to have to pull it apart because they gave us three numbers, but they're all in different spots. So this triangle would be like this, a 5, a 3, and a 7. So perimeter of our base would be 8 plus 7, which is 15. So P equals 15. Okay, so I'm going to shade this base in so we can see our triangles are our bases. I'm not shading it all the way in because there's a 2 in there that shows that that's the height of the triangle, and I'll explain that in just a second. But H is the space between the two bases, so H is equal to 10.5 centimeters. Okay, so lateral surface area once again means to multiply P times H. So in this case, I'm going to bring my calculator over so you can see that. And P times H in this case will be 15 times 10.5 centimeters. And that gives us 157.5 centimeters. So lateral surface area is equal to 157.5 centimeters squared. Okay, so remember, once again, perimeter of the base times height. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the same thing on number 2, but instead of finding lateral surface area, we're going to have to find total surface area. So we're going to need to find, and I like to label this kind of weird, but I'm going to take that face of that triangle off so we can see the base, just so we can see it. On the shape there, we noticed that they gave us a height like this, right? The number that's there is 2. So I'm going to draw an arrow to that. That 2 is the height of the triangle. I like to write that as HOT because that height is different than this height, which is, can't draw my arrows, is my height of prism. So excuse the sloppiness, but there's 2 different heights that we're working with on here. So we already have pH, so that's the good news. So that's less work for us to do because these numbers are the same. These triangles are the same. So we know that pH for this one happens to be 157.5 centimeters squared. So this is my lateral surface area, but now we need to find B. So B for a triangle, the area of the base, is going to be 1/2 lowercase b times h, right? So see how that can be confusing, right? So the bottom of this triangle, 1/2 base times height, the bottom of this triangle, the base of the triangle, 7. So we're going to say b is equal to 1/2 7 parentheses 7 times 2. Okay, so we have lowercase b and we have lowercase h. Okay, so that's going to be 14 divided by 2, so b equals 7. Okay, do autofocus there. There we go. So if b equals 7, now that I found the area of my triangle, then we're just going to plug all of it in, pH plus 2b. So that's going to be 157.5 plus 2 times 7. And we can go ahead and put that in the calculator for 157.5 plus, oops, I did times, plus 2 times 7. And that's going to be equal to 171.5 centimeters squared. So that was a longer explanation, and this triangle doesn't give me a ton to work with. But something that I want you to practice is labeling the height of your triangle and the base of your triangle so we can properly find our area, because all of these different variables can be confusing. So on surface area of triangular prisms, oh, I said that word, surface area of triangular prisms, I would recommend finding the area of your base first. That way you can work on everything else later. So to show you what I mean by that, let's do number 3. And I'm going to they want us to find the lateral surface area. So I'm going to do the whole thing because it's still good practice. For number 3, they want lateral, but I'm going to do lateral and total. So still pH plus 2b. We know that pH is my lateral, so we're going to find it, but I'm also going to find plus 2b. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, like I said, we're going to shade in our bases, and then we're going to find b. So we know we need to find p, we need to find h, we need to find b. So in this case, my triangle is an 8 by 8.5, 8.5, and a 15. Okay, that's my triangle. So we know that the height of my triangle is, this is my lowercase h, or I'm going to write HOT. HOT for height of triangle, and this is my lowercase b for my base. So we know that area of triangle is 1/2 times 8 times 8.5. Okay, so we're going to find our b, our big B. So 1/2, let's delete, control divide, 1/2 times 8 times 8.5, and that's going to give us 34. Okay, so B is equal to 34. Okay, now that we found B, let's find H. H, the height of my prism, is the space in between. So there's H. So that's 10. Okay, and then P, the perimeter, would just be adding the whole side of this space, which would be 8 plus 8.5 plus 15. And that's going to be 31.5. So our perimeter is 31.5. Okay, so now that we have everything we need, we're just going to plug those into our formula, and that's going to be 31.5 times 10 plus 2 times 34. Okay, and then we're going to multiply and add all that together. So let's do it. 31.5 times 10 plus 2 times 34. Push enter, and our total surface area is going to be 383 inches squared. Now, here's the thing. It only asked us for our lateral surface area, so let's go ahead and find our lateral surface area really quickly. We know it's pH, which would be 31.5 plus our times 10. So 31.5 times 10 is going to be equal to 315. So pH, and I'll find some room to write this. I'll write it on the side up here. pH equals 315 inches squared. So I wrote it on the side right there, but we found our pH and we found our total. So here's our lateral surface area, 315 square inches, and our total, which is 383 square inches. So notice the difference between lateral surface area versus your total, and I'll write total next to that. So excuse my sloppy work, but remember you can turn on subtitles and then watch, rewind, and rewatch to make sense of this, okay? So hopefully this is making sense and this is helpful. If you have any questions, please send a message and I'll be glad to go over that and touch base the best I can, okay? I'm running kind of out of time on this video, so I'll continue more work on the next video. But be on the lookout for part 2 for triangular prisms, because I really want to make sure that we go into good detail here. Okay, so until next time, thank you. Bye-bye.